Now I believe there comes a time when everything just falls in line. We live and learn from our mistakes. The deepest cuts are healed by faith. Now I believe. All fired up. All fired up. All fired up. All fired up, fired up, fired up. Now I believe there comes a time when everything just falls in line. We live and learn from our mistakes. The deepest cuts are healed by faith.
Hi, Jim, am I ready? Welcome to Renee Marie Stroke of Luck. I'm Renee Marie, and we really had a great show, the first show today with my sister Debbie, sharing, filling in the gaps for us, filling in the blanks for us. It was really interesting. And Judy does such a great job in tying shows together with she does a great job. And that show really leads into this show. Without her even knowing what she was doing, she booked a show with my sister filling in the blanks for us today, and really talking about the struggles and the focus and determination and the drive that it takes to survive and to recover from a stroke. And now we have Keith on the show, Keith Taylor, who has been on our show a number of times. He's a stroke survivor himself. He really is part of the Stroke of Luck family, the Renee Marie Language of Love family. And we're going to talk about a program that he designed. It's called the BASE program. And it has to do with exactly what we were talking about in the first show. And actually, it's funny, but Keith was testing out his system before, and he kind of popped onto the show, and it was a perfect pop-up, because he really had some interesting pieces to the puzzle. And I really think it was important for him to kind of see that show and be a part of that show to kind of navigate to this show. And his philosophy, and this is what the program is about, is belief, building your self-importance, which is important. I mean, you just can't do without it. Attitude, taking control of your behavior, strength, ignite your inner power. Wow, that's important. And energy, transitioning to a new you. And it's so funny because we were just talking about all this stuff on the first show. So it really does navigate to this. And most of you know I'm not very good or big at selling things. But I really believe in Keith, and I believe that his purpose is to help people. And he was so gracious. He gave our audience a great discount on this program. And we'll talk about that later on. But, you know, we're going to work together to bring support, help to those that have suffered a stroke, because we both understand how it feels. That's important. Like, I don't think anybody could understand how it feels to suffer a stroke. And it took me a long time to understand that. We were talking about in the first show how my family and Debbie and my father and my grandmother and my mother's prayers and everybody kind of helped me, but I had to do the work. And Dominic Cordelesa is that bridge between being unknown in what I had to do and getting to that place to know how to navigate and to use my inner powers, like Keith says. So it really is an important program that I definitely strongly recommend, because I know Keith does things from his heart. He's not doing it um, for just the financial gains from it. He is doing it from his heart and his soul, and he really does want to see people succeed, because from what I'm understanding in our prior show, and it, like I said, it was a gift that he popped on because I understood his drive is as driven as mine. So that's what it takes, and that's what we want to help you with. Welcome back, Judy.
Thank you for the kind words.
Welcome back, Keith.
Thank you.
Hi, Keith.
Thank you guys so much. And hey, before we get started, I want to say thank you to you, Renee. I mean, my gosh, how long have you even been doing this show now?
6 years.
Is it 6? No, there might be. How many years?
6 years.
It was not. It was. Yeah. Yes.
Well, you need to be commended.
Oh,
and the work, the energy, the money, the everything that it takes to put that on, I understand it, and I see what you're doing, and it's a huge thing, and it helps a lot of people. And so thank you so much for who you are and what you do.
Thank you, Keith. But the truth is, I couldn't do it without everybody. Without Judy, my foundation, Jim in the studio, the Madhouse studio, Michelangelo, Bobby Baby Walker, my whole board, my whole foundation, a whole Stroke of Luck team, our telethon, which is coming up, which you've been a part of, and now we're partnering with you for the support for recovery.
And I just gotta say, listen to all those Italian names that you just it's crazy.
What nationality are you, Keith?
What?
What nationality are you?
I don't know. I'm Heinz 57, I'm pretty sure.
What's Heinz 57?
Heinz 57 is anything and everything into the bottle, I'm a good mix.
Oh, that's good. I'm half Italian and half Cuban. So So that's
It's a good mix.
yes. That's where my passion comes from, is the Cuban side.
Right.
So Keith, let's get to this. What drove you to do this? How did you get from being a stroke survivor? As we were talking in the prior show, if anybody was watching, is how things happen in your life without you wanting to happen, and we know your story. Give us a brief caption so that those that are new on our show can kind of understand how you got here. Like, you had a stroke, but what happened in your professional life to gauge you to get to this place?
Okay, well, I'll just start by saying this. I'll keep it as short as I can, but I was a business owner. We had a pretty large, multi-million-dollar company, and we were manufacturers, and everything was going fine. And then, I had my stroke, right? And so, going back a little bit, after I had my stroke, Babette, my wife, was with me for, I want to say, 3 months, and kind of babysat me, right? I wasn't like you, Renee. I didn't get right back out to work, but it took a while. And then when I went back to work, it was tough. I couldn't remember our product line. I couldn't remember a lot of stuff, and we would have these business meetings. One point I'd like to make is we'd have these business meetings every Friday, and there were 4 owners of us, and we'd all sit around, and one guy had production. One guy was finance director. One guy was the office director, and then I was a sales manager. And so we'd have these meetings, and a lot of times it would get a little heated, and and we'd all argue and all this. But the end goal was to always get through that and make the company better. Well, after my stroke, I would sit in there and we'd go around the table, and tears would just start flowing from my face, And gosh, as I think about it now, it's actually, drives me nuts, because I was never that, right? And you have a stroke.
You would never cry, or you were never what are you trying to?
He was never that emotional.
You were never that
Yeah.
emotional?
I've always been a fairly emotional person, but I wouldn't cry in front of my business partners, And so we're sitting around the table, and tears would just seriously start flowing down my face. And A, it was embarrassing. B, I didn't know how to speak what was on my mind. I couldn't say what was on my mind and get the words out. And it was a tough deal for a while there. And, I remember also after that, and I'll get back to one thing here in a second, but I remember standing in our house. We had this 2-story house, and we had this nice big picture window. And Babette had went back to work, and I was there by myself. And I remember standing there looking out this window, and honestly, I was thinking about, what good am I? I mean, my wife's babysitting me. I mean, I can't function at work very well. And I was going to give it up. I seriously thought about ending it. I had lots of life insurance. I had all these things. And then it came to me, I'm not the only person that's going through this.
Right.
There's more people out there who are going through this stuff. And so that's when I went to work on figuring out something that could help other people. And I couldn't find anybody that helped with that mental help. I mean, there's therapists, there's your doctors, there's everybody that you go to, and the physical therapy and all that. But I couldn't find anybody who could really help me get my mental, facilities back and positive, because we go through depression, right? Most stroke survivors go through a depression time in their life.
Because
And
the brain has been combobulated. It really takes, and this is in understanding language. It takes something or somehow to defragment your brain to have clarity in what it is we should do in our purpose. I have a question for you before you continue. Will you have tears? Because I'll share with you afterwards why I asked this question. Did you think you were sharing with your coworkers tears because you just didn't understand what your purpose was, or do you think you were crying because you just knew the value of life, and this argument wasn't just for life? Does that make sense to you?
Well, it makes sense what you're saying, but no, I wouldn't say I felt that it wasn't just to me. No, I was more embarrassed for myself. It was an embarrassment. It was, I couldn't do what I used to do. I wasn't acting like I used to do. I mean, we were on the top of our game. I mean, we were building this company, right?
Right.
You couldn't really communicate your feelings about what they were talking about in the meeting. And that was what was so frustrating to you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I was just frustrated in general. And when you can't speak, you can't get your words out and stuff, it's tough, right? And as a lot of people who are watching this, I'm sure, realize. So anyway, where was I?
So you wanted to help. You wanted to
Yeah,
show people how to move forward and reach their goals and get better and have a positive attitude.
And you were talking
Right.
about the fact that depression hits all stroke patients.
Well, you know, not everybody claims that it does, and that's true, and I suppose it doesn't. I run quite a few stroke survivor meetings a week. Matter of fact, I should do a shout out to Stroke Association Oregon, Stroke Awareness Oregon, excuse me. And those guys saved me some too. And I'll get into that real quick because after I lost, I mean, I was fired from being an owner of my company. There were 4 of us, and Babette had to quit her job. We moved to the actual town because I was a sales manager, so I lived in a different town. I could go, you know, I was all over the place. And so after the stroke and some time went on, they asked me to move to where the company is and start working there. And by this time, I was just a delivery driver for our company. And, you know, nothing against delivery drivers. I'm just saying that here I was the owner, driving the sales of this company. And then, you know, so a lot changed. But Babette had to, you know, quit her job, and we moved down there. And then a few months later, they called us in on a Saturday and you know, basically said, we can't do this. Now, in their favor, we had a disability policy as well. So it wasn't as bad as I may make it sound, but it hurt, you know.
Because your life on this earth is not about money. That's what I said initially. It's about building things. It's about helping people. And even though you were going to be financially okay because of this disability package, what were you going to do with your life? You know, what were you going to do?
I just want to mention, Keith, a few months back when you were on a show, you mentioned that you started this disability package prior to your stroke.
Well, yeah, it was like 31 days or 27 days before my stroke. Our company bought this disability. I mean, it was a process to buy this disability policy, and then wham, I had my stroke. The poor disability owners were like, "What?" You know? Anyway, so you know, and frankly, after that happened, and I was basically let go, we moved all over the place, and you know, it was me. I couldn't get settled. You know, we moved, gosh, 3 or 4 times. Last time I talked to you guys, I was in Arizona.
Right.
And then Babette and I we're back in Oregon. We couldn't stay we couldn't stay down. Our kids and our grandkids and everybody's up here. So you know, we're close to everybody. And anyway, so that's, you know, that's it in a nutshell. But then when I got back here and I started getting together with the Stroke Awareness Oregon people, you know, I had to get this done. I had to get this program done.
And so that's just, I just want to go back for 1 second. So what was the motivating factor for this program? What was the mindset? Why did you create this program?
Well, I actually created the base program in a big document, you know, and I shared it with, you know, I was coaching stroke survivors for a while, and I was doing stuff. By the way, I mean, you know, as a stroke survivor, don't ever give up. Don't ever think, you know, I had a neurologist tell me 1 year from, you know, it's going to be as good as it's going to get, a year and a half. And, you know, and he told me that, and it put me in that depression part. But here's the thing, you can grow. Everybody can grow and can continue to grow. And you can see example after example after example out there. And so anyway, I wrote this program, and then you know, after some time went, and then I tested it once I moved back into Central Oregon, and I got the word that it's too much. It's too much for a stroke survivor to go through this workbook and try to, you know, it's 90 something pages and, you know, figure it all out. And so that's when I decided, wait a second, I need to build a step-by-step module, and that's what I've done. There's 15 modules. They're all about 10 minutes long. They take you through.
A great amount of time.
Right. and you can take it as you go. You can take as long as you want to take this program. There's a PDF in every module, and I won't go too far into, I don't know, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but then that's what gave me the motivation that, wait, this, in order to help people the most, we've got to build this the right way so it helps people. And so that's what I've done, and it took a lot of work, but I'm very proud of it, frankly.
Yes.
We're very proud of you.
Yes, we're very
Thank you.
proud of you. And you probably had to build that book to have some basis for your work, so that
Totally.
you knew what to work off of,
Exactly.
And the truth is that book could also help not stroke survivors, but families, and how to gauge their loved ones through, because what we were saying before is, if you're not a stroke survivor, you don't understand how it feels to suffer.
Right.
And not even doctors or therapists or anybody could share with me how it feels to have your brain scrambled and not to be able to share or communicate something with somebody. I'll never forget, when especially when I get tired, but not so much nowadays, but many years in the past, when people were looking at me, talking to me, and I was just having a blank with them. It wasn't going in. I wasn't getting it. I wasn't understanding what they were saying. And and then your brain, Keith, you're correct, right? Your brain starts to go, what is wrong with me? How come? And, rather than just put yourself in that place, which your program teaches, okay, like Dom taught me, okay, just, share with them, I'll get back to you, or let's revisit this tomorrow, to come up with trigger answers. So you don't put yourself in a place that you feel embarrassed. You can hold your dignity. And then, without saying to them that I suffered a stroke, because that just kind of woe is me. You don't want people to feel woe is me. You want them to respect you. And to get respect, you have to earn respect, the same way you have to fight for this understanding of yourself and your energy.
Absolutely. The other thing that, as you were talking, it made me, it came up in my mind is, one of the things that, as stroke survivors or anybody who's gone through something medically challenging or whatever, everybody always worries about what other people are thinking of you. Whether you go to the store, whether you go here, whether you go there, and you're always worried, what are they thinking about me? And listen, I just want to tell everybody on this call, people may think about you in the moment. 10 seconds later, they're thinking about themselves. And so you got to get over that. You've got to learn that, people aren't worried about you. You got to worry about yourself, and you've got to get your mind going the right way and quit worrying about all that and start, focusing on where you can go and what you can do with your life. It bothers me when stroke survivors, you talk to a stroke survivor and they give up, and everybody just kind of, nobody understands me. I understand that, except for you've got your own mind and you can make changes, but you've got to believe that you can do it. And that's where that starts, right? And anyway, I'm very passionate about that.
Yes, that's good. That's what drives you, because if you don't have passion, then you're too in tune with everybody else, the way we were just talking, and you're not living the life you're supposed to be living. You're living the life that everybody else thinks you should be living. And I have something to add to your comment about people not thinking about you. And energetically, if you keep thinking about the negativity that you're thinking and they're not afterwards, you're drawing it to you more and creating it in your life more. And you're putting up blockages to be able to grow and to learn and to manifest in your life.
And it's like we were talking about in your last call. We all grew up a certain way. And, I love my folks more than anything, out there. And I'm so happy that I grew up the way I did. But everybody has their own thoughts. And we grow up in an environment, B, with the people that we're with, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, grandparents, parents, and that all manipulates how we turn out. And it's just what it is. You're 7 years old and you're pretty well, it's designed. So we have to understand that we're adults and we can make changes in our mind, but it takes work. You can't just think one time, oh, I want to do this, and it happens. No, you have to physically and mentally focus on it day after day after day. And I was telling you in the last session, I've got journals and journals and journals and stuff that I wrote down, my goals. I mean, I have a goal sheet that, I look at every day. And that's what manipulates how you adjust, how you talk to people, how you do things. And that's what creates the action and stuff to come into your life. And that's how I believe. And God, of course, too. I know that. But, you
But God only opens the door for you. You got to walk through it. You got to navigate it. And that's why I'll never forget a long time ago, I'll only say his first name, Eddie. He went to kindergarten with me. First, second, and third grade in St. Anthony's School in Hawthorne. And he was very, what's the word? He was a kid. He was a boy. He was a boy, So he finds me many years later on this journey that I'm going through. And he found God, and he was apologizing to me after so many years of how he treated me. And I said, Eddie, don't worry about it. That's it. But thank you so much for calling me. And then we became, we had a phone conversation relationship. And I started to reel off, I want to do this, I want to do that. And I didn't understand that when I talk so fast and have so many ideas that people are like, I can't take this. Goodbye. So he said to me, and this is why I'm bringing it to you. He said to me, listen, he goes, you are a softball player. I know you're passionate about softball. He goes, look at your life like a game, right? He goes, the first baseman doesn't need to know what the third baseman is going to do. The only person that needs to know what's going on is the manager. They need to see the whole picture. You're the manager, he says. Now you got to play the game like you're the manager. And you don't have to tell everybody what your whole ideas. Just feed them information that they need to help you to navigate through your journey. And why I'm saying that to you is because it's like a game. Like that's how I look at my life now, like a softball game. Okay, because I'm passionate about softball, and
Right.
So what would you do if something happens? When you're down, you go back, you go into the group, and you regroup. And you say, okay, what's the next game plan? What are we going to strategize to do to be successful at this game we're playing, right?
Right.
But another piece to the puzzle that Pat taught me so eloquently was to do things through respect. We were never allowed to talk negative, to talk bad about anybody. We had to keep, it's part of my friendship, to keep our mouths shut. She would do the talking, and she would control what everybody. So it was like, it's really important. And what do you do when you're in practice? You practice, you throw the ball. Before every practice, we had to throw 50, 100 passes without question, because we were practicing.
That is a great point. Thank you for making that. And that goes back to the journaling every day, and it goes back to, thinking, and however people do it. I journal, and, people read the Bible and meditate, and I do that as well. But practice. That's a great analogy, Renee.
Wasn't from me, it was from Eddie Devine. Eddie. Well, it's from Eddie. I was just like, okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Awesome.
right?
So, yeah.
So let's
Anyway.
talk about the program a little bit. Let's talk about, I mean, you have 14 modulars, you said?
There's actually 15 modules.
Pick one of those modulars and just share with us a little bit about what's on it. And
Okay.
like I said previously, like Keith, Keith's organization, which is I forget your organization, Keith. I'm drawing a blank.
Strength After Stroke.
Strength After Stroke. I have it right here. Strength After Stroke is partnering with Renee Marie's Language of Love Foundation. And we're really passionate about helping people for recovery. And I honestly, and I didn't even talk to Keith about this, but I honestly believe that it's something that families need to purchase, not only the stroke survivor, because the stroke survivor may not totally get what they need to accomplish to get to that point. Like I needed guidance in my life and Keith needed guidance in his life. We need support to get to that next level. Like Eddie shared with me about the softball. You needed somebody to bring light to me about that. So as much as it's wonderful, for a stroke survivor to purchase this, to go online, you really needs to be a team effort. It needs to be a team effort. I really believe that from my heart and my soul. So go ahead.
Good. Very good. Yeah, I'll just add to that real quick. Spouses, caregivers, anybody who's working with the stroke survivor, they can really use this program to help the stroke survivor get back in the game again and get things going. And thank you for saying that. That's key. So I printed out a couple of the modules. Module 11. It's in the strength section, and this one is on tapping into yourself. Now I trademark that, but TAP it's about time, accountability, and planning. So time, if you're spending quality time investing in yourself, or are you spending quality time investing in yourself in the life you desire? It seems that too often we spend so much valuable time on non-important stuff, right? I catch myself looking at my iPhone. Speaking of which, that's just taken over the world, right? People are on their phones everywhere. Ask yourself if you need to adjust how you're spending your time. So anyway, this talks about how you increase the amount of quality time you invest. Here's an example. I don't know if you can see this. This is one of the documents. It's 4 pages long, and it's a worksheet. There's a worksheet in every module of this 15 module program.
Right, because you're learning something and you want to put that to use. You want to practice, right?
Absolutely.
That's what you're learning.
Absolutely, and like I said before, the whole base, everything is in this book too, which we'll talk more about that later. But it was just too overwhelming. So now there's these 15 modules, and every module has a worksheet, or they're probably 4 or 5 pages long that you can go through and grow in. One more quick one: the energy. In the energy section, I don't know if you guys can see that.
Yes, we can see it. Anyway,
there's a thing that I learned when I went to a training one time, and it's called, there's 7 levels deep. Now, real quick, these are all stepping stones. These 15 modules are all stepping stones to create this program. And so in each one of these, I have these different stepping stones. So 7 levels deep. Basically what you do, and I almost don't even want to give this away, because what you were talking about, when you have caregivers and you have spouses and you have all these people, to have them go through this with you, that is critical on this 7 levels deep, because what you do is you start out by asking yourself, What do you want out of life? And the funny thing about it is you go through this process, and if you really are thinking and you go down 7 layers, you keep asking why? Why is that important to you? What, and pretty soon, step 3, step 4, step 5 sometimes, you break through the, oh, I want a new car, oh, I want, stuff, and you get to the real reason. You get to that real reason that somebody is existing, what they want out of life. And that was, it was huge for me when I went through that. And so I've included that in here too. So those are just a couple of examples.
Pete, another important piece to this program is that this is a life thing. This isn't like you're going to take this program and just whip it out and get it done. It really is a program, and I could only say that from experience in my life, because it's been over 30 years that I have been recovering from my stroke, that I'm always growing and learning. So each time they can use this program, 15 modulars. It would probably take me 30 years to navigate through that 15 modulars, because we keep growing. And if I had a stroke recently and I logged on to the modulars, 30 years later, I'm gonna have a different view over my answers. So God, it's so critical to have this as a foundation to your life. This is really a life foundation program that you could have checkoffs, go back, after 5 years, go back, review it, say, God, I grew so much. And it'll journalize your life and your growth. It really is a valuable tool.
Thank you so much. And I believe that too. Honest to God, we've all done things out there and we've never, things that we weren't extremely proud of or whatever. And I'm kind of that guy that I don't like to toot my own horn or nothing like that. And I still don't. I care about people. But BASE is the foundation. That's the name of it. It's the base of where you're going in life. And I'm very, very proud of it. And I know it can help people, and that's why I'm so proud of it.
Yeah.
It almost gets me emotional thinking about it. Yeah.
Well, we're going to do a series, an educational series, because our foundation is starting support groups, which I hope you would be a part of. We'll offer to those those survivors, the opportunity. Maybe you would gift them with one segment of, just coming off the top of my head, one segment so that they could see how the program operates. But I really believe that life after a stroke, like life after anything, but I can only speak about a stroke because I suffered a major stroke, is that your life, it's a new road that you're going down. It's a new road, and you have to be open to driving down it. And you have
Absolutely. And not only open to it, but almost accepting of that. Because when you're not open to it, you're not accepting of it. And I was one of those too. You're hitting your head against the ceiling all the time until you can release that and you can accept it and you can say, look, I'm going to build my life from this point forward. We can move on. We can be something. We can, whatever that is. We can be a beacon for people who have gone through other things, like you, Renee. I mean, what you're doing is incredible, and I have people that I've met here that, I won't say names because I didn't get permission, but they're super, super people, and gosh, they just. I kind of went off track there. I'm sorry, but
That's
I'm
okay.
just excited.
But the truth is that this would be a great holiday or birthday gift for somebody, you're giving it at such a great rate for our show viewers until August 9th, I think it is.
Yeah.
$147,
Right.
which is a gift. And the truth is, if you can't afford that $147, then get a sponsor to purchase it for you. Because if you do a GoFundMe page or whatever you need to do to get this, and I know people are thinking, why don't you do it for free? I'm going to share that with them. Because the truth is that when we're passionate about something, we need to make money doing it. Because if we don't make money, PSE&G doesn't care that you had a stroke. Your Verizon or whatever, they don't care that you had a stroke. Your mortgage doesn't care that you had a stroke. Nothing is for free in life.
Right.
So you have to be able to make financial finances off of something, because your drive, it can't stop. So Keith is being gracious for $147. And how much was it? $497, I think. That's how much.
Well, with everything that they're getting, it's I mean, frankly, it's over a $500 value, because you get the training. And real quick, I want to go back to what you're saying, and then I'll come back to that. But as you were talking about, when people don't actually invest in something, then it's garbage. They throw it away. They don't commit to anything.
That's a good word, investment.
Yeah, because the investment is in you. It's not in anything else. It's for your good. So I just wanted to say that.
And it's like I said before, Keith, it's an ongoing thing. It's $147 for life.
Lifetime access.
You could use that base foundation for your life. So it's a gift, and that's why I'm saying maybe someone would buy it for somebody, or somebody would sponsor it for somebody. I am pretty sure that somebody would do that for someone.
Yeah. Well, and again, as far as the value goes, you get those 15 recorded modules. There's PDFs that go with every module. There's a PDF so that you can reprint, you can work on yourself, and like you were saying, over the years, you can continue to do it. You get this entire workbook that comes with it too, in a PDF, but you get that. And
You
then
get that mailed to you?
no, it'll be emailed or whatever.
It'll be emailed in a PDF file. Okay.
Yeah. And then one of the things that I added was, and I was talking to Sarah and some other people, probably Babette. And anyway, one of the things that I just added was I'm going to do a bi-weekly live,
Support group.
Zoom call, right? And we are going to answer questions. I'm going to get feedback. I'm going to find out what they want, and I will research whatever it is if I don't have the answer.
Right.
And every other week we're going to do that, and you get that for a whole year without paying anything too. And that, to me, that's huge as well.
Yes.
It's a one-on-one. It's a call, and so that I'm going to add that in as well.
Yes, and that's what I wanted to do with you on Facebook Live. With
If I didn't hear, something happened to my volume. I heard part of what you said.
I said that's why we wanted to do a series with you. What happened?
I'm having trouble hearing it as well.
There it goes. Well, I can hear Judy.
Jim, can you hear me?
Renee, we can't hear you.
I'm on.
It sounds very faint.
I might put my,
Can you hear me now?
just barely. Anyway, I think I can get through it. This might help.
I don't know why you can't hear me, because I can't hear you. Can you hear me, Keith?
Well, I can hear you if I really listen closely. So let's just keep moving on. But
We only have a few more minutes. I don't know
okay.
what's up. And then you and I are, oh, service. I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yeah, barely. Let me just say this. Are you planning on putting the link up on your program?
Yes, yes, can you hear me, Jim? I'm gonna, I'm gonna be making, a Facebook page, not a Facebook page, a website page. And I'm gonna link it to yours, and I'm gonna post it on Facebook. So yes, we're.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
So, yeah. So Keith, you and I, can you hear me at all? You and I.
Very faintly.
You and I are, was that the first time you couldn't hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
So you and I are going to continue this conversation anyway, Keith. We're gonna.
That's right. That's right.
We're gonna navigate out of this, and then we're gonna do a webinar, you and I. So
Yeah.
could test it out on my end, and I told Jim because I just want to start running it for the telethon. So let's get out of this since you're not hearing me correctly, and we'll navigate into that. Okay.
Yeah, and if anybody didn't hear that, Renee's saying we're just going to go ahead and get out of this, and she's going to go to a Facebook Live and all that. But first I want to just make sure I say Renee and Judy, and I know Jim's in the background doing his stuff too. Thank you guys so much. It means the world to me. And Renee, you have just done an amazing job over the years, and you've been consistent. And I see the difference in you, frankly, from just a few years ago. You look great. You're doing great. And thank you guys so much for having me on here.
You're very welcome.
You too,
Your family, Keith. Your
Thank you.
family.
Judy, I think Renee's trying to say something to you. Oh, real quick, can I give my contact information, Renee?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So it's Keith, Keith, at strengthafterstroke.com. Keith at strengthafterstroke.com. Anybody can email me anytime they want, questions, whatever, and we'll do that, and then we'll go from there. So thank you so much again, Renee and everybody.
Should we blow kisses?
What? I don't know what happened, but anyway.